This
introduction.
conference will now be recorded.
So I'm Deepak. I have around 16 years of experience in management consulting, and I started my career as a BA. I worked in UK in London for around 10 years and US for a couple of years out of those 16, 17 years of my experience. Typically, I have worked within banking and financial services. I started my career with manufacturing and sales, but then post my MBA, I moved into banking financial services. As I said, I started my career as a PA, then senior business analyst, enterprise BA, and then leading a team of around 30 to 40 BAs, both in UK, US, and India. Right now, I'm into full-time work, but training comes to me as my interest and my passion. So I am associated with OnlineITGuru and have been taking a few sessions as well, which has been quite successful. So we'll cover a lot of elements within the BA session, but before that I would like to understand your background and your expectation from the course, what you are looking into very briefly, probably a liner or so, and then post demo if you have any questions. Once we discuss about the modules and the course operations, if you have any doubts or any clarifications, you can always ask me. So, Saikin, would you like to go first? About you, what's your experience, number of years of experience, which area, and what are you looking for in the training or the course?
Yeah, okay, sure. My name is Saikiran. I have completed my master's degree in computer science in the year of 2015. After that, I have worked with Wipro Technologies, and right now I'm working with ASICS Technologies as testing engineer. I have 10 years of experience.
You have around 10 years of experience. So 10 years experience post your graduation. Saikiran, post your graduation, you have 10 years of experience. Post your graduation, you have around 10 years of experience.
Not 10 years, 2.10.
2.0, so close to 3 years, you mean to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So where are you based currently? You are based out of US, or you are into any other location?
India, Hyderabad.
You are based out of Hyderabad, India. All right. And what is your, in just briefly one line, what is your expectation from the course? Why do you want to do a business analyst course?
Because I'm trying to that set because it is very competitive and I want to prove myself.
So if I believe your major intention would be to move from your testing career to project yourself as a BA within your company and outside, right? That's the aim that you are going to do.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, next, anyone else who would like to introduce quickly? Hello. Hello, anyone else who wants to introduce and let me know about background? That's little bit of importance so that I know what the course expectation is. Someone would like to go ahead. Saikiran has already introduced himself. Anyone else? Saikiran, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think others are on mute. Hello, can you please go ahead with your introduction? Navya, can you hear me?
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah, so I'm just asking to introduce so that I know what background they have. And so is there anyone else who has joined or they have dropped off? I can't see, basically I'm not able to see anyone who was in the participant list. Okay. So is there anyone else who would like to go for an introduction? Just to let us know what is their expectation.
Okay. Renu Rana, are you there? Waiting for him respond.
Okay, so
Deepak, we can continue the class.
Oh, so they are hearing, right? They can hear what I say.
Yes, we are able to hear.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so I wanted the introduction so that I know where you are and what is your background. But anyway, that's fine as long as you want to keep yourself anonymous. Let's have the brief discussion about the course outline and what is being offered. All right, so this is a complete BA course which involves a lot of concept clearing as well as different jargons and terminology what you come across in the normal BA work. Apart from that, there will be an orientation for the real life example. So all the modules, most of the modules where you need, there will be a hands-on exercise for you where you take out that information or the technology or the terminology behind that. You prepare the documents and then submit for the review and assignment. That's for your benefit, right? So I'll briefly brush upon that. So the way the course is structured is around 20 hours of program, which also, as I said, which also involves your hands-on experience of or actual working of different documents and producing those artifacts so that you get the real life examples. So we'll start with an introduction to business analysis. What are the basics? What are the key concepts? Who is a BA? What are the different roles of a BA? And all other concepts which underlines the business analyst. Then we will go ahead and understand various models. So these days, typically, if you look at IT software engineering, I mean, Cycle and you are from the same group. But then we will try and understand what is the typical role of BA, how BA in real life example works on waterfall and agile model, and what is the ask from a BA point of view. So throughout this, we will also do few exercises, writing the user stories and writing a BRD, sharing those documents so that you understand how you do that. And also we will cover a lot of case studies in that, right? The third important areas would be elicitation and collaboration, where in this module we will discuss about how do you elicit a particular requirement, what are the problems of elicitation, how do you work collaboratively with the users or the clients or the business, and we will focus a lot on that. Number fourth module would be requirement lifecycle management, where we discuss about from the starting of the requirement, how do you take care of the entire life cycle of requirement. So as a BA, you are basically expected to work across the requirement. So you do requirement gathering, you do analysis, you do validate, and then you do prioritization, and finally you manage the entire life cycle management. Here we will also do hands-on exercises and case study related to traceability metrics, where you understand how you capture requirement and how do you build a traceability metrics. Most of your interviews in for BAs and also for when you actually go ahead and work in a particular company or an organization, you will come across an importance of requirement traceability metrics. So we'll have to do few hands-on exercises on that. Okay, so module 5 would be business analysis techniques and tools. Here we will cover a lot of tools and techniques, which will be typically BA techniques like business case formation, brainstorming. We will also cover some use cases. How do you build use cases and user stories around that? Okay, so we'll have to do few examples and case studies where you would again build those things. So the importance why I'm saying case studies and user the case studies and hands-on exercises, so that you come across and actually build those cases, right? So one example, I'll give you a short case study and you do hands-on, and then I review it and then let you know what is the feedback, or probably we can discuss the solution aspect of it. So there are a lot of techniques and tools which we will come across and we will discuss those in details. Through BA techniques and tools, I'll also let you know a few of the very important tools which the BA use, like Jira. Obviously, those are licensed versions, so I don't have license. Neither anyone can provide a license, and then licenses are very costly. But I'll take you through a few of the screenshots and how exactly a BA would work on a Jira. Or I'll also provide you a few of the sample tools where you can actually go ahead and build your own frameworks for the business analyst. So that would be very, very useful. Module 6, we will look at a road ahead. So future outlook, in case that's what I was trying to figure out, what is your intention. If you want a specialized exam, which is normally provided by IIBA certification, which is for practitioner, after you work for 5 or 6 years in your industry, then you probably go for those exams. So probably we'll discuss a brief about how do you prepare for the exams, what are the modus operandi for the exams and all that. And depending on your industry, if you are keen to understand about future outlook, what is happening in your industry, we can also cover that. So that's what I was trying to figure out, if you are from banking, manufacturing, or healthcare, which industry you belong to, so that we can have few of the sessions, or at least few of our discussion around future outlook for the road ahead, right? So number 7, we will the last module would be tips on CV building and mock interview. Now when I'm saying these modules, obviously these modules have a lot of sub modules within that, and there are a lot of, and it's quite detailed, as I said, number of hours of course program. So tips on CV building and mock interview. So what I intend to do is we will have a question answer kind of session, where I would typically behave as or play the role of an interviewer, and you submit the name of a couple of companies that you want to go for. Let's say you want to go for IBM and some other company, let's say Adidas, right? So you give me those information saying that this is my priority company, and I'll frame some questions on that along with the typical BA related questions, and we'll have a mock interview. So I can just go one by one from you in the actual setup, and then we can have a mock interview. It is important because you get a practice, and you are allowed to do a lot of mistakes, because here nobody's going to see you, but you can always take that as a feedback and then work on that. So this typically a 7th module we provide as an add-on to whatever we initially promised, so that we give you a lot of tips on CV building, and then, as I said, the mock interview. So 2 important aspects of that. And already I have highlighted that the training program will cover a lot of interactive case studies and take home assignments or project which are based on real life cases. So probably we'll get a case on finance or banking industry, where there will be a problem statement. You take it and then solve it from a BA perspective, answer few of the questions and do in a case study model. So similarly, there will be a one particular project which you have to work and then write BRD yourself, as if you are a BA, and then whatever you learned, you have to fill up all those details, as in scope, out scope, the dependency assumptions that you have, the as is process model, the to be process models of those sort, right? So that is the intention. So this is the course outline, and this is what we are going to cover. So next, who is the audience who can actually go for a business analyst as a career? Any aspiring candidates exploring as a new career can actually go for a business analyst. Now, if you are experienced in other industry, like for example, Sai Kiran is, let's say, he is into testing and he's planning to explore business analyst stream, this is a good area where you do a lot of practice and go through the actual training of a BA. There are a few of the experienced technology professionals who we have conducted training for them, who are typically more than 10 to 15 years of experience. They are into technology professional, but they want to understand how they capture functional requirement, non-functional requirement, how do you do the business analysis and solution modeling. So those professionals can also join us for this training. Aspirants with an intent to move into client-facing roles. So what happens is, normally in your day-to-day job, sometimes it is a desk or a research-oriented job. In case you want to have a career in, let's say, consulting or business development, the actual route is through a functional route, which is from a BA perspective, right? So from a BA, as a BA, you understand the basic concepts, you understand the terminology and technology behind that, so that you can interface with the client easily. Now, all the case studies we will be doing for a requirement gathering and requirement analysis, the user stories we will be covering, those will be gearing you up for the client-facing kind of roles, right? So you understand what the client is expecting or the business is expecting, because this is a role which is an interface between business and technology. Again, those who are interested to learn more about business analyst position within your organization, which is typically a case where normally it is said T to D, where you are in technology and then you are trying to move to domain or a typical business function, then you should opt for this course, right? So what are the prerequisite before you do this course? Is there any prerequisite? Normally I get a lot of questions. What is a prerequisite for taking up this course? Now, the first and most important point is a strong desire to learn business analysis, right? So basically, if you are not keen to understand or learn about the technology, then it is gone, right? So you are not up to the mark. No technical background is required. So if you are thinking that to be a BA, there is a technology background which is required, you are wrong. That is a myth. No BA would require a technical background. Like if you don't have a Java background, obviously you can become a business analyst. But having said that, somebody who has gone through the technology framework would better appreciate the course. The reason being, let's say you understand testing, so you know what are the test cases, what are the test scenarios. Now what you understand is how business analyst can have a traceability between requirement to a testing. So when I said that it is not required, having that is not a bottleneck. So if you have a technology background, it's good. So you would better appreciate the things and you can move ahead with the testing or the training, right? So that is one of the points. Now, again, as I said, no prerequisite knowledge is needed to take the course. Okay. Why explore business analyst course?
Hold on.
Sorry.
I
Any
have
question?
one doubt here. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is this? Sai?
Yeah. Yes.
Sai, your question? Yeah.
Yeah. You said if it is any testing person is required in BA, we are going to do any testing related stuff.
No, we are obviously not going to do any testing related stuff. But what I'm saying is your knowledge in testing will come handy when you act as a business analyst or when you join as a business analyst. Because in your
Okay.
interview or in your day-to-day activity, there would be testers or the test
Okay.
engineers or the business architect that you will be interacting with. So if you
Okay.
know how testing has been done as a business
Yeah.
analyst, you will get more value out of it. So that you know what
Yeah.
are the
Okay.
estimation, how is it correct or not, right?
Okay.
So that
But
is
we don't have any role.
no, you don't have roles in exactly in testing. If the BA is
Yeah.
involved in testing, I'll go through that. Yes, there are roles for
Yeah.
BA to do in testing, but not exactly testing. You will be involved in
Yeah.
user acceptance testing. You will be involved in
Okay.
hand holding the business users how to do user acceptance testing. Obviously, we cannot
Oh.
do during the training. We can't do any user acceptance testing because we don't have a system, right? No institutes provide that. You can't have a
Yeah.
licensed or a confidential systems. But I will take you through what is the expectation as a BA, right?
Okay.
Clear?
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Clear.
So why explore this course? What is the advantage of doing a business analyst course? That's why I was asking you at the start of the session, like what is your expectation out of the course? But I think only Sai, you said that you would like to explore the terminology and technology and then understand concepts, do some case studies and all that. Right. So
Yeah.
first and foremost is great pay. If you look at across the globe, US, UK, or India, everywhere, the average salary of a business analyst is always higher than other streams. The reason is very simple, as I have already said, because you act as an interface between business and technology. So you appreciate business, you discuss with senior stakeholders within business, you understand functional requirement, and you are also a person who would have to appreciate technology. Now, mark my word, I'm saying appreciate technology. You need not know how to form a queue or how do you set up a test bed for anything or how do you code in Java. You need not know that, but if you can appreciate that technology is a team who would deliver or deploy the solution that you think of, then obviously you have a better hand, right? So then job growth, what we have seen, the business analysis job market is expected to grow at a rate of 35% over the next 10 years. Now this is not a figure from me, this is a figure from a Gartner, who is a renowned research institute. They have come out with the figure that for the next 10 years there will be a job market of 35% over globally, right? So there is a huge job market growth, and obviously it would require a functional knowledge also. For example, if you tomorrow say that I want to get into FMCG and you expect a 35% pay hike, it's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. The reason is at least you should know how Adidas functions, right? So with your business analyst knowledge and the techniques, you should also know about business a bit. Otherwise, nobody is going to care about what is your knowledge in business analysis. So twofold or threefold knowledge, right? So your soft skills, your business analysis technology, and also knowledge about the industry. Let's say you want to proceed or make your career in FMCG, you should at least know what is a sales transaction, what is a marketing research, what is branding. So you have to at least know those figures. Otherwise, expectation would be just expectation. Now, springboard to other careers. As I said, skill learned as a business analyst, you can use across other professionals. So there are a lot of other roles which are coming in, typically in consulting and business development, where they require people who have actually worked as a business analyst with the clients earlier. So most of those roles like product owner, product consultants, those roles are coming up in a huge time. So you can springboard to other careers or you can explore other careers. Now, a BA is a person who uses existing industry knowledge. So knowledge which is gained as business analyst is highly valued. So anytime you talk about a target operating model, or you say that I understand how to create a business case, or you basically say I know how to write user stories, I know what is a use case, what is an exception case. those knowledge is always valued in industry because you at least know or talking in their terms, right? So very, very important. Now, the last important thing is a sanitize factor, where we say each day is a different job, different day. So unlike other jobs, business analysis is never stale, because you, as you grow up in your career, you basically handle or manage multiple projects, and you do requirement analysis, requirement gathering, requirement validation for all those different projects. So there are always new projects and challenges to tackle, and you will always find new projects if you are good. Obviously, you have to put your brain behind that, right? So that is one point which I wanted to highlight. Now, what are the learning nuggets? What you can expect from the training? You gain the knowledge and skills required not only to become a business analyst, but to also be successful about it. So what I would do is I would also share my 16 years of experience and all the areas where I failed and all the areas where I was successful. So all the case studies and the different experience, when you ask me the real life example, we will share through this course. So more than clicking the R's, it would be basically sharing the experience and what would you do as this particular instances. You find in lot of interviews you are being asked a question: how do you manage senior stakeholders? How can you do a stakeholder analysis, right? So those comes by experience, and we will also cover them. So we will also understand the practices of business analysis, and as I said, the tools and techniques already I have covered that. We will also learn about key vocabulary. So what are the key jargons? So somebody says that as a business analyst, do you know how do you build an as is and to be process flow, right? So you should be a person to understand and say what is an as is process, what is a to be process flow. The other things which I have covered: increase your potential competence in your current role, implement all the requirement management styles, and it will ensure successful completion of your project. And finally, you gain the practical knowledge through real life case studies. Here is the most important point which I wanted to cover: is there will be a lot of assignments. So those assignment needs to be covered. So if you are not doing it, obviously I'm not going to track, because all of us we are talking about matured professionals. So it depends on you. So once we have the assignment, if you practice that, it will be better for you. Obviously, we will discuss about the solutions and how you should approach as a PA, but it depends on you, your capability to actually have, what do you say, make your hands dirty in the project. Otherwise you will not learn. I mean, just understanding the concepts and not utilizing it will not help. So I'm a strong believer that whatever assignments or exercises we will share with, probably you have to work hard on that, right? So this is pretty much what I had as a BA and what I'm going to cover. Now what I'm also going to show you is the functional case studies and all those elements that I was trying to highlight. So just to give an instance, right? So these kind of small case studies will be there, where there will be a problem statement from any of the organizations. We will take different industries depending on which industry you belong to. Then we will have the typical solutions for that. Then we will also have standardized templates, and which I am going to share with you, along with the actual practice of real life cases, right? We will have the templates and the project summary, objectives and backgrounds. All of these we will discuss in our course curriculum. So and there will be also a bit of quiz. We will make it interactive, where we know about different areas where we want to cover. We will have some quizzes as well, so that you understand and imbibe the concepts apart from that. So a lot of things in terms of case studies and traceability matrix and the framework. Obviously, I'm going to share with you all the templates which we will come across. But important thing is how you take those templates and start filling in, or at least try and attempt filling in from your side, so that you know what is a BA's job and how you can be successful in that. Right. So this was a brief outline and discussion from my side. Anything now, I'll open the forum to any questions. So I can see that few other people have also joined, Renu and Bhim. So feel free to ask questions. Obviously you didn't join from the start, we covered few things. So any questions I have, sorry, you have, I'm here to clarify that. So please go ahead. We'll use the next 5 minutes or so for your questions. I'm conscious of your time as well. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Sir, actually, I'm just now joined, no, sir. So basically, I want to know the basics about that one. How the BA will be rolled. Hello?
Sorry, who is this? Bhim?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Bhim.
So first of all, I need to listen the
Bhim,
class careful. Yeah.
I can't hear you. Bhim?
Sir, I'm just now joined with you, sir.
Okay. What is your question?
The question is, sir, well, first of all, how's the BA rules in as a business analyst? Like, how will be the present, like which is the business team and the technical team?
Yes. So as I outlined at the start of the course, a business analyst is a business analyst role typically is not driven by designation. It's driven by your role. So someone who acts as an interface and then tries to build the gap between business and technology would be a business analyst, right? And then he has obviously, when I say business analyst, typical expectation is that 60% of the time you should understand, 60 to 70% of time you should understand the business requirement and the functional requirement, and you should also appreciate the technology. So if you understand technology, it is better for you, and you can quickly move up the curve. And also your soft skills would be required. Your communication skill and
Yes.
interpersonal skills you need to build up.
Okay. So
Okay,
I'm
what
from
is your
the
next?
banking domain, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I have the experience in 2 years of banking domain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your question, Bim? What is your question? Bim?
Hello.
Yeah, Bim. There is some background noise, which is just a fan. If others can just put on mute and Bim can speak, please. Okay, Bhim, go ahead. What is your question? You said you are from 2 years banking domain. So what do you want to understand? Bhim? Okay, anyone else who has any question? I think Bhim, we can't hear you. Basically, you said 2 years of banking. So if I understand your question correctly, or if I can preempt your questions, having a banking background always helps so that you know the functional side of it. Now, once you understand the technology or tools of business analyst, then I think you can participate, or you can actually participate in those client discussion. You can also join a company which is rich in banking functionality, right? So maybe an Indian bank or an MNC bank of UK and US. Okay, so any other questions? Sai, are you okay, or you have any questions or any doubts?
Yes, sir, since I have 2.10 years of experience in testing, can I put this complete 2.10 years of experience into BA?
Yeah, so that depends on how you frame and go through the questions of interview, right? So obviously having an experience in testing helps, but when you say that you have worked in BA, you need to understand the basic concepts. You need to model your script. You have worked in a project which I have no clue of. Neither I can help you on your own project or the area that you have worked on, right? So which
Yeah.
domain you are in, Sai? Which domain you are in? Banking or sales or healthcare? Which domain you belong to?
ERP.
ERP, right? So
Yeah.
ERP, as long as you can frame your answers or your story, saying that you know the techniques, so you know what is requirement gathering, you have prepared a BRD, then you can always say that you have worked as a, or you acted as a proxy BA. Now, for that to do, again, something should also fall into your side, as in your designation in your current company. If it says test engineers, and then in the interview you say that you have worked in a BA directly, then that will be mismatched, right? So you have to
Yeah.
correctly see how you can line up your knowledge of testing, and you can always say that you worked as a proxy BA, you helped or supported a BA, in case you once you know the what the BA does, right? And then you can also
Yeah.
highlight that these things you have done, like traceability matrix, the use cases, which are the regular BA work, right? And you are also understanding about the EML diagram. You know how to write user stories. You know what is the functionality of a BA in an
Yeah.
agile or a waterfall methodology. So in case you can project that,
Yeah.
it is okay. It's okay. I mean, you can showcase that. Not a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions, Sai?
Can you give brief on this thing, package details for freshers and as well as experienced?
So when you say package details, you want financials, is it?
Yeah.
You want the fees, charges, and all that, right?
No, I'm asking after becoming BA, what is the salary of my life?
Okay,
That I'm
so
asking.
anyway, the salary varies depending on the company that you apply, right? So how the
Okay.
company will value your experience is again dependent on the interviewer. But typically, the salary ranges are quite different if you have a domain knowledge and you just have a technology or a BA knowledge. Now I'll give an example to clarify. Let's say tomorrow you apply for Flipkart, right? So the salary that Flipkart will try and offer you would be very different. Let's say it is giving X. Let's not quote any figure. Let's say it is giving you a figure X, right? So the figure X will be dependent on what is your domain, previous domain. Have you worked in FMCG previously? That's what I highlighted in the start of the session also. And then do you know the BA techniques, the BA tools? Have you worked on any of the document like BRD, FS and all that? Apart from that, your understanding of the particular domain. Now, if you are from the same domain, let's say you are from FMCG and you are applying for a company in FMCG, let's say you have already worked in kind of Flipkart or Reliance or those kind of companies, and you are now applying to similar sort of companies, then your pay package would be 1.2 or 1.3x. But if the domain is very new, let's say you are working in ERP, tomorrow you want to apply for ICICI Bank, right, as a BA, which is a banking domain, then your salary would obviously be only X. Reason being, you don't have the domain knowledge to back yourself. So for example, if I am from banking industry, tomorrow I'm going to ask you, how do you settle an account in a real time? Then that question you cannot answer, right? So that is why your weightage in an interview will be little less. So that is why it is always recommended that you build in one domain. Now you will see a lot of people in US and UK who go to multiple domains, but it is always helpful that if you pick up one domain. So if today you say that I want to go for banking, tomorrow after 3 years you say no, it's done, I want to go for manufacturing, then your salary will not be increasing. Now typical salary for experience, whatever experience that you have, is normally 2.5 times of your normal experience. So if normally a person has 5 years of experience, you can expect somewhere around 10 to 12 lakhs. Okay. So depending on that, you can calculate. Again, as I said, other parameters will come into account. So for example, Flipkart asks a question, do you know how FMCG business functions? Now, if you don't answer that in interview, then it is a tough call. And even they would look into your CV and then say, hey, you know what, Sai has worked in ERP. So let's start with an intermediate BA, not a senior BA. Obviously, you would appreciate the fact, because if I come to ERP, I know about ERP, but I have worked on ERP. But I'm just saying, if I don't know ERP and tomorrow I join a ERP-based company or a ERP-based product company, obviously my salary would not be that higher because I'm moving from banking to ERP, right? So those risk factor is always there. But be rest assured that if you keep on trying, obviously you will get a good job.
Okay, so what I understood is like whatever domain we are right now, we need to go BA with that domain only.
It is better. I'm not saying you have to. It is always better. But so who denies? Tomorrow you give an interview in ICICI and they're offering you, let's say, 15 lakhs. Would you like to stick into the domain or not? Right. So you would always say that, okay, now let's say I'm earning, I don't know your figure, neither I want to know, but still, if I say that I am now earning 8 lakhs and tomorrow the company is giving me 15 lakhs, but they want me to learn banking, I would definitely go for it. Right.
Yeah.
Being a person, we would always say somebody is paying 50% hike, so they would ask us to understand, or they would request us to understand how a net banking happens, how digital banking is happening, what are the different regulations in banking which is coming up in India and Europe, right, or UK or US. So those things will be expectation from the company, not from our side, but expectation from the company. Okay, so clear?
Yeah.
So you basically, what I'm saying is you need to prepare. So if you pick up ERP as a domain, then you have to also do your search, saying that that's the reason I'm asking you to find out what are your dream companies and prepare yourself. So that before we reach to module 7, you should be prepared enough to understand about ERP. So tomorrow, if I'm asking you a question, do you know what are the latest technology in ERP? Right. So you should be a person, or who are the vendors who are offering ERP related products right now? Do you have the list? Okay, so you should be that. I'm not asking, but those should be answer ready for you, ready with you. Okay. So I think that clears your doubt. So Renu, you have any questions? You have been quite off the late, but you have any questions? This is your opportunity to clarify. Renu? Okay, no questions. Anyone else has any questions?
Yeah, this is one more final question.
Yeah, yes, I go ahead.
So right now in the market, which is the good paying domain? Is there anything like that?
No, I would not suggest anything like that. But typically, if you look at from a technology, now you have already worked in testing and you know about technology. So if somebody knows a bit of digital or emerging technologies like artificial intelligence or RPA, which is robotic process automation, and then you are a BA. So you combine your technology knowledge of the emerging technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence, and then you have your BA techniques and tools. So you understand how a BA should behave. You understand what documents a BA needs to create. You understand the concepts and technology of a BA, and then you also have a bit of technology like digital, blockchain, whatever I highlighted. Then that domain or that area is hot, and that is going to be hot for next 5 to 10 years. But having said that, I'm not saying that Flipkart will not pay the equal amount of money. It all depends on how you are prepared and how good you are in terms of doing these exercises and understanding what are the BA role, right? So if you don't understand what is use case, and then you go, whether it is a digital company or it's a product ERP company or any other company, you will be rejected, right? So you have to understand the concept, practice yourself, lot of cases, so that it becomes a story, right? Otherwise it is difficult. So if they ask, give me an example of a use case, so you would wonder, oh, what they are asking about use case, what is use case? You can't think, right? Okay. All right. So we have already crossed a time. Thanks, Navya, for bearing with us. It's late night. I don't feel that anyone else has any questions. We have already spent 15 minutes on question and answer. So take an informed decision and then get in touch with Navya for further details, right? So we normally run a lot of batches. So any batches or anything, once you decide, you can get in touch and decide yourself. Okay,
There
all
are
right. So
only weekdays batches as well.
So that we haven't taken a call. There are a few batches which goes for weekdays. So Navya will provide you all the details. So we also have to work out on the timings depending on people across the globe who would be joining. So if there is somebody in US or India and UK, so we have to take an informed decision and then stick to one time frame so that we can go through the entire modules.
Is there any of your branches in India or somewhere in Hyderabad, something like that?
Yes, so I'm associated with the institute on a consulting basis. I don't work full time here, but you can always get details from Navya about the branches and other areas. But typically, even if we are based out of India and Hyderabad, so the offering is across the globe. So the students or the participants or the experienced professionals are from US, UK, across the globe, right? And we have taken sessions like that. So Navya will obviously provide you a lot of details in case you want to know the exact. But these sessions will be based in WebEx, right, or the web. So just like we are doing. So there is no harm in where you are based out of. That's what I was just checking so that I understand where exactly you were working. So whether US or so we can modularize our course, right? So if somebody is from US, probably he will need little bit of preparation on the US side or that kind of interview, right? So that's what I was checking in the session. Okay, all right. So I'll sign off here, and all the best for you. And see in case you decide. Okay. Bye for now. Thanks, Navya. I'm closing off the session. Take care. Bye.